love to do it for my little girl because I don't think I've changed much over the years. I get into all sorts of controversial scrapes and what have you, but deep down I do like to please people. I do appreciate other people playing good snooker against me, and I love to actually see the furtherance of snooker, no matter what anyone says, and it'd be nice to be the people's champion again.
The unmistakable Alex Higgins, who became world snooker champion at his first attempt in 1972, and now 10 years later has achieved his ambition and won the title for the second time. Well, these 1982 Embassy Professional Championships were played at the famous Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, and they were the most watched and the most talked about ever, the shocks and surprises coming in the very first round. Well, the very first match was between 26-year-old Tony Knowles from Bolton and the 24-year-old Londoner, the defending champion, Steve Davis. Now, Davis had won almost everything in sight since winning the title in 1981, but against Tony Knowles, he struggled right from the start. Knowles took the first frame in only 12 minutes, and in the second, Davis needed the last 5 colours to win the frame and draw level.
The shot of a champion. Looking to leave himself an angle on this blue to bring the cue ball back up for the pink.
7.
Within 3 points, but he wants both these colours. No doubt about that one.
18.
Oh.
18. Steve Davis. Steve Davis, 57. Tony Knowles, 54.
Into the centre of the bulk cushion. And what's he done this time? Very unlike Steve Davis. Tony Knowles goes 2 frames ahead.
Well, as commentator Ted Lowe said, very unlike Steve Davis. But that was really the story of Davis's play. Tony Knowles took full advantage of it, and at the end of that first day, went to bed after a visit to a nightclub of all places until the early hours, leading 8 frames to 1 in the best of a 19 frames match. Well, the following morning, Davis came to the table hoping his luck would change. But from the very first shot, it looked unlikely.
Foul 4, Tony Knowles.
And later, in the same frame, he again lost his concentration.
Foul.
Well, it obviously wasn't going to be Steve Davis's year. In the 11th frame, with Knowles leading 9-1, Davis was on a 30 break with this difficult black to get to the colours.
Well, he desperately needs to get on that yellow off the black, and this is not as easy as it looks. And that was the problem. You see, he had a lot of side on that cue ball. And this gives Tony the opportunity. And that little kiss on the brown there, I think, really seals the fate of Steve Davis.
Five.
And
9.
perfectly on the blue, and
14.
and a little wave of the hand indicates that the Embassy World Champion has been defeated by Tony Knowles in a superb exhibition of match snooker.
So the champion beaten, 10 frames to 1 in the first round. The number 1 seed, the hottest favourite ever, was out. And before long, a string of famous names were to follow him. The second favourite was Terry Griffiths, the 1979 champion. Now, he played Willie Thorne, and like Davis, the Welshman couldn't believe the chances he was missing. At 4 frames all, Thorne was 52-47 ahead, with just the last 6 colours left.
Bad safety shot from
Thank
Thorne.
you, ladies and gentlemen.
Shouldn't have taken the green anywhere near the brown.
Three. Seven.
Blue and pink still needed.
Seven. Terry Griffiths. Willie Thorne, 52. Terry Griffiths, 54.
And what an exciting frame this is to finish this initial session of this best of 19 frames first round match. Thorne has been 2 frames behind at 2-4. What a bonus it would be for him if he could take this frame as well to go in 5-4 up overnight.
Foul 5. Terry Griffiths.
Terribly unlucky for Thorne. There didn't seem room to send the blue behind the pink and thus over the pocket. Even worse, the cue ball went into the middle pocket to give 5 away. But Griffiths still does need the pink as well to clinch this frame.
Foul 5. Willie Thorne.
The blue was so near the pocket that Griffiths
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Quiet, please.
assumed that the pot was a formality and threw everything into generating the power needed to get the cue ball up and down the table for the pink. And in the circumstances, he's been extremely fortunate that the blue has gone relatively safe. Thorne could risk the double, but terribly dodgy.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
Oh, what a shot! Just the pink to give Willie Thorne a 5-4 overnight lead. In it goes!
Griffiths eventually lost to Thorne 10 frames to 6, so the people's second favourite was gone as well. Canadian Cliff Thorburn, the 1980 winner, had been made the number 2 seed, and he played whirlwind Jimmy White. And as early as the first frame, the Londoner showed us he meant business, and how. Here, he leads 28-9.
5. 6. 13. 14. 21. 22. 29. 30.
And this a crucial shot in Jimmy's break. Not an easy pot blank, but good position on that red will set him up to really make a big break, and he played it very well.
37. 38.
So a break of 38 so far. And that's unfortunate.
43.
Maybe he can pot the red.
44.
'Well, that's the end of the frame, the first frame for Cliff Thorburn.
49.
Now can Jimmy White proceed
50.
and make it a clearance?
Fifty-six. 57.
The only problem for Jimmy now is good position on this red near the left-hand side cushion. If he gets perfect on this one, and he has done,
64. 65.
And he certainly makes it look easy.
70.
A really gifted young man.
71. 75. 77.
And the remaining colours on their spots. So let's hope he does it.
80. 84. 89. 95.
And this is 102. And the first frame with a splendid century clearance by young Jimmy White.
Jimmy White proving his point, and he went on to beat Thorburn 10-4. So the top 3 seeds were all gone. The next to go was David Taylor, the number 7, who was involved in an extraordinary and controversial incident against Patsy Fagan of Northern Ireland in the 16th frame. Fagan had this shot on the green. Well, Fagan, obviously frustrated, hitting the cue ball back up the table and fouls the green and the blue as well. Now, referee Jim Thorpe asked him if he was conceding. The Irishman said he wasn't, and surprisingly, David Taylor didn't say a word. He just accepted the 4 points, and after green and blue had been replaced, Taylor lost the frame and eventually lost the match 10-9. So the number 7 seed, David Taylor, was out as the arguments raged. And before this extraordinary championship was much older, Fred Davis, the oldest player, seeded 12, was beaten 10-7 by the youngest player, Dean Reynolds of Grimsby. And the number 5 seed, Dennis Taylor, was beaten 10-7 by Silvino Francisco from South Africa. Well, it was difficult to realize that all that had happened in the first round. 6 seeds knocked out, new names and new faces creeping into the limelight. And now there really wasn't a clear favourite. Well, let's move on to a match from round 2. Doug Mountjoy of Wales seeded number 6, and Alex Higgins seeded as low as number 11. Now, in the opening frame, Mountjoy is at the table. There are just 3 colours left. He leads 67-51. As you can see, he's snookered.
One consolation there, Rex. The pink has gone safe.
Yes, you just beat me to it, Ted. I was just going to say the same thing myself. That could be the saving grace for Doug.
And what a great shot that is from Higgins. Terrific amount of left-hand side, bringing the cue ball off the bottom cushion, taking the pink over the centre pocket.
11.
Higgins showing his flair for the seemingly impossible. And by the time they reached the 16th frame, he was still providing the excitement. Here he leads 8-7 in frames, but is 27-10 down.
A Higgins special.
Seven. Eight. $11.
6 points in it and down to the last 3 reds.
Alex Higgins. Alex Higgins 21, Doug Mountjoy 27.
Thinking of playing the safety shot and sending the red around the table, but a bit worried about the red colliding with one of the colours.
Six.
Well, still a fair bit of work to be done here. This red
14.
certainly very awkward.
Three fantastic reds. £13 ahead as we come to the colours. And Mountjoy sees himself dropping again 2 frames behind.
24.
Well, Alex made a mess of that one. After all those brilliant pots, he's still got to pot the brown to make the game safe, and there unscrewed the butt of his own cue, put the extension on,
Thank you.
so that he can use his own cue instead of using the half butt which is provided. And he's got to get this brown. Didn't play a very good shot on the green. Dismantles the cue again.
The difference then,
27, Alex Higgins, 49.
22 points with 18 points on the table.
Well, no problem in hitting this ball, swerving it, but won't want the cue ball travelling too much.
Mountjoy back in the match.
Took Mountjoy.
He's got a free ball. He can take the black, which will count 5,
Free ball.
and clean up. What an extraordinary change of fortune.
Well, Alex could have hit that off the side cushion, but he was afraid of going in off, actually.
49.
That's why he preferred to play the swerve shot. Doug still has the problem after the black, getting the blue and back onto the pink.
Five. Thank
Well,
you.
this is not easy to screw back onto the pink.
Still a very difficult pink.
And he also needs the black, so far from home and dry.
No.
Took Mountjoy. Quiet, please. Thank you.
An extraordinary shot then, a brilliant one, for I'm sure Alex Higgins played that double on the pink into the bottom as a case for safety. He wins the frame and finishes the evening 2 frames up, leading 9 frames to 7.
Brilliant play there from both players. Eventually, it was Higgins who went through, but only by the odd frame, 13-12. Now, the highest break of the championship came in Alex Higgins' quarter-final against Willie Thorne. It was a model of snooker play, a model of snooker technique, and it was Willie Thorne who made it.
1. Eight. 9. 16. 17.
'Well, he's got to get well into this to hold on to the other reds.
$24. 25. 32. 44. 33. 40.
Well, I think he can cue just about with enough side to take him around the back of the black here. No, he's...
Oh, 41.
Well, there is one more loose red. Which he's got onto. Now he's got to get the right angle
48.
to get into the bunch of reds. Although I think there is one red in the middle of the pack which will go. And that, he's just having a look at that, but can't get onto the black from particular red. Well, he's left the angle. Now, if you can pot the black, get a decent split on the reds, we might possibly see a big break. Well, he's played for that one loose red in the middle of the pack.
56. 57.
Well, he's left the black a little bit on the thin side here, which means he's got to use a lot of care checking the cue ball for pace. And very nicely played indeed.
Well, yes, Willie took a risk with that, playing with a lot of side, but at the moment he has taken 8 blacks, so every shot has been a red and a black. And it's a bit early to talk about it, but obviously he's got his mind on a possible maximum. You feel a bit happier to get one more red because that will make the game safe, so then he can relax a little bit more. Now he's got the decision to make, and he's just having a word with the crowd because he's got a nice easy red to go through onto the blue and win the frame, or he's got to think about the risk of getting back on the black. And I think that was the sensible thing to do, to make sure that the frame is in the bag first.
Well, Alex concentrating hard, rather possibly surprised at this very good start by Willie Thorne in the first frame of this session. And Willie Thorne really playing like a dream here, completely relaxed, unhurried.
Well, if he could possibly take all blacks now with the remaining 4 reds, he could equal the championship record of 145.
87.
Which was made by Doug Manjoy. Well, there's a bit short on that one. The open red, I think it's a little bit difficult to get on the black. Obviously the angle from
95.
On the table looked different from our commentary position.
So first frame, 102. Well, he has a chance at least of beating his own previous best in the championship of 122. And at no time in the break has he really been in any trouble at all.
No, I think that's the thing. It's been a superb break, Jack. And he's played that just about right, left himself a nice angle to stun out off the yellow onto the green. If he can get the lot now, the break will be 143.
Well, no problems for the blue, but he's just got to be a little bit careful with the pink. Now you probably want to try and kiss this pink towards the middle pocket. So that 130 now is the highest break of the championship so far. And what a wonderful start for Willie Thorne in the second session of this 25-frame quarter-final.
I think the thing that must be pleasing Willie is the way that he's made the break. Absolutely superb. Been on every shot that he played for.
Oh, and a beautiful shot. Played at double strength to come up behind the black. Now, will he be a little bit fortunate on this? And a tremendous round of applause. He's right on the black.
Must be the shot of the championship. Fantastic shot.
Marvellous. 143 clearance. Superb.
Superb, marvellous, Jack Conham's words exactly right. And that break wasn't bettered, and Willie Thorne won £2,500 for the best of the championship. Consolation for eventually losing the match 13-10. And that brings us to the semi-final stage of the 1982 Embassy World Professional Snooker Championship. And despite all the shocks and early exits, 4 great snooker players were left to battle it out for the title and to battle it out for the first prize of £25,000, record money in the game. Now, the 3 men who'd come through with Higgins, the Irishman, were Ray Reardon of Wales, Eddie Charlton of Australia, and Jimmy White, the young Londoner, the only unseeded player to make it. And Higgins proved he can be as colourful with words as he is on the snooker table when he summed it all up.
Jimmy is the bottom of the list. He's young and I'm 33 and Charlton's whatever he is. Well, that fella Dracula, you know, like if he's got a good moan, he can do anything, you know.
And it was 6 times a champion, Ray Reardon, versus twice a losing finalist, Eddie Charlton, who came together for the first semi-final. And the match was over the best of 31 frames. The first man to 16 becomes the winner. And it was neck and neck throughout. The score reached 11-all. It had been trap, escape, and counter-trap. Both men getting near to, but not quite pulling off a 100 break. We'd seen fine snooker from both players. They both knew that one small mistake would let the opponent in for the kill. And then 3 times in a row, Eddie Charlton found that to be true. And here, Ray Reardon leads 14-11, no score yet, in the 26th frame.
1. Six. 7.
Reardon away again here.
14. 14.
Queuing very awkwardly there to get that red into the centre, but don't think Eddie can do much about this.
Well, I think in actual fact Eddie's left Eddie a red this time into the right-hand corner pocket, screwing down for the blue.
Oh dear.
It's all happening today for him, Ted.
Yes. And the mutterings are getting stronger, I feel.
1. 8. 9. 9.
And this being the last loose red now, we'll try and leave an angle on this black to break the pack up after potting the black.
17. $24.
And this is when they're running for you, Ted. Just one red coming to the only spot he could get out of those reds, and lined up for the middle pocket.
Yes, John, that was very fortunate.
$31. $36. $37.
Disaster, this, for
44.
Charlton.
Yes, and I think this is Ray's highest break this session, Ted. Up to now, 44, and still an easy red into the corner pocket.
45.
Another nice angle on the blank to go off the back cushion into those 6 reds.
One red, and Eddie Charlton will require snookers.
$60. $61. $66. $67.
And looks perfect to split those 3 reds here.
possible 123 here.
'80. '81. '88. '89.
Just the 6 colours to go. The only difficult one is the pink.
'98.
And that's not a good shot, having to cut this green with a lot of left-hand side to stay on the brown. Difficult shot, this.
One frame later, Reardon was through. Charlton's fine attempt to beat him had failed yet again. For Reardon, it was the 7th time he'd reached the World Championship final, and he'd never lost in the 6 previous appearances. Well, the second semi-final was a complete contrast to that one. Jimmy White versus Alex Higgins. Higgins described it as being more at home down in the Florida Keys, a whirlwind against a hurricane, and I can tell you, they didn't disappoint us. We'll start by looking at the 7th frame. Higgins leads by 4 frames to 2 and by 45 points to 10, White to play.
1. Eight. 9. 16. 17. 24. 25.
And a very clever shot from Jimmy there. A possible chance to just disturb those 2 reds this time.
32.
Now, this pink. If he gets it, everything's there for the taking.
38. 39. 46. 47. 49. 51. 54. 55.
58.
which means that Higgins needs a snooker.
63. 69. And one of those balls had gone down every 10 seconds. 69 points in less than 3 minutes. The whirlwind. Well, by the 15th frame, White had taken a lead of 8-6 and had Higgins in trouble again. 40 points behind, 59 on the table. One.
Play to get on the red there by the brown. He's gone too far.
Alex Higgins, 8.
3 reds then now left. A possible 51 points and the difference 32.
Well, this is a very important game for Alex. Ideally needs to win this one because won't want to go into the final session trailing by 3 frames.
Alex Higgins, 8. Quiet, please. Eight. Jimmy White, 8. Thank you, gentlemen.
Alex requiring this red and a colour together with the 6 colours to win the frame.
Alex Higgins, 32. Jimmy White, 64. One.
Wants the big colour. And he snookered himself.
7. Alex Higgins, 7. Quiet, please.
Jimmy White was behind the green, but he's left the yellow over the pocket.
2.
Well, he certainly had two marvellous chances to win the frame, Jimmy White. And what an important game this is. Higgins must be under tremendous pressure to try and get these colours. And that's a good shot.
$16 points in it, 18 points on the table. And that cue ball going towards that top pocket.
Alex Higgins, 5.
Gives little difference, in fact, but it does give an advantage to Alex. He can play from the D. All square, 64 points each. And what an exciting match we have now, with the frame scores just one the difference. Jimmy White leading 8 frames to 7.
Higgins exploiting Jimmy White's mistake on the yellow, only to go 2 behind again at 10-8. And here in the 19th frame, White is at the table. He's potted 1 red on his first visit.
Well, Alex Higgins has tried very hard to contain this young man and check his terrific potting, but he hasn't succeeded this morning.
9. $16. 17. 24.
Well, it's gone just a little too far past the centre pocket, but that's no problem.
25. 30. 31. 37. 38.
'Jimmy White, extremely aggressive player, and of course he can afford to be the way he pots.
46.
And he waggles his head there. That one will just slow him down a fraction.
53. 54. 61. 62.
Well, he's getting very close to the point where Alex wants snookers. So we now have 5 reds on the table, 67 points, and he's 66. So now Alex is in trouble. And this young man, just like shelling peas, isn't it?
68. 69. 75. 76. 82. 83. 89.
Oh, and what a pity. Such a beautiful break.
Well, the miss didn't matter, and White was ahead 11-8, 5 frames away from a place in the final. Higgins, well, he had other ideas, and here is only 1 down, 12-11, and 9 points ahead in the 24th frame.
1.
Didn't quite play that as intended. Played to kiss on another red, but still can get through.
Nine. 60. 17. 24. 25. 32.
'Well, didn't again get what he should have got from that, and I think there is a red that will go in the centre. Certainly a tough one, but if it will go, Jimmy picks these off. A tremendous shot again.
Eight. 9.
'Well,
The red next to the pink will free the pink
40.
and also the two reds which are touching each other.
15. 21. 22. 29. 30. 37. 38. 45.
A little bit short. He's got to use the rest now. 6 inches harder. He could have played it with a hand bridge.
46.
And although he's got the pot, he's lost a measure of position. Needs to play another good shot here to keep going instead of an easy one.
Jimmy White, 46. 1. 5.
'Higgins refusing the pot in favour of the near certainty of leaving a snooker. White swerving out. And Higgins' choice of shot certainly appears to have been the right one.
Well, Jimmy White with that swerve shot got the yellow in a little bit more awkward position. So it's not quite that easy for Alex. Well, he played nice, delicate little cannon onto the yellow, but again, very, very difficult. All he can do is safety.
Alex Higgins, 5.
White was a bit careless with that. Should have perhaps concentrated a little more on getting the yellow from behind in order to put more distance between cue ball and yellow. And Higgins very disappointed there at missing the initial shot for what could have been a clearance.
That was a fabulous shot. Really went for it. And that's a terrible shot.
Could have been overreaching slightly, but for whatever reason, that was an opportunity missed. Higgins retires anxiously to see whether White can see the brown. He couldn't.
What a lucky fellow Alex is, because he was a mile away from where the pocket he played it in. And he really does appear to be under pressure. Needs all the balls to win.
An outrageous fluke on the brown, blue, pink and black as well. Higgins takes the frame and levels at 12 frames all.
Higgins enjoying it. But by frame 30, just 2 to go, White leads 15-14. No score, Higgins to play.
Well, a colossal screw shot to get back to safety. Oh, and what a marvellous shot, John.
Yes, Jack, tremendous spot under pressure, that. A lot of tension out there now. And that's given Jimmy an excellent chance to get a break going here.
$16. $17. $24. 25. $32. 33. 40. 41.
And Alex finding it hard to bear, I think, at the moment. Oh, and he's missed a certain black.
Jimmy White, 41.
And has been rather fortunate there. He's gone into the pack of reds, but left it relatively safe.
Well, he's certainly looking everywhere, but I think he's got to play safe here. Well, a very courageous putt there. That was certainly a difficult one.
Six. Seven.
You get the feeling, Jack, this could be the winning break.
13.
And that really is a delightful shot to get around the angles, getting on the right side of all the reds. So Alex breathes again. 59 points in front now. And still enough points on the table for Alex, if he can just take his opportunity.
One.
Well, what would you do here, John?
Well, I think he's got to have a go at the blue or the green. There's plenty of points on the table for Alex.
Four.
And with that shot has brought the only red that was relatively safe over the centre pocket.
Five.
And at the moment, Alex just isn't getting the run. He had it in the early stages, but it's left him at the moment.
Well, he can pot this blackjack, and I think he's got to go for it. Into this right-hand corner pocket. This is the big shot of the frame. And that's a tremendous shot under pressure. A lot of courage Alex has got.
12.
And now another difficult red into the centre pocket.
And Alex not able to afford any mistakes. If he's going to go for a colour to play for the Reds, he must get it, or else it could be the end of the match.
Well, it's not an easy position, this. He might elect to play it safe. Looks as though he's going for the blue into the top right-hand corner. And then another tremendous shot.
18. Quiet, please, gentlemen.
red into the corner pocket, right-hand bottom pocket. Oh, and that's a beautiful shot.
Twenty-seven.
32 behind. Red in the middle.
34.
I'm feeling nervous for him, Jack. I think if he clears this, this would be the break of the tournament.
And here we have the colours on their spots.
Yes, Jack, all easy shots these normally, but every one a pressure shot in this situation.
$14 behind.
Just has to hold it together for 5 more shots. Tremendous break, this.
47.
Beautifully on the pink. And he needs the pink and the black. And he's on the black.
62.
And what a fabulous break if he knocks this black in. Oh, marvellous!
And Higgins telling us all, I want just one more. And there was only one more to play for a place in the World Final against Ray Reardon. We just watched one of the most exciting frames of snooker ever. They had to try and follow that. Jimmy White followed it with the first 6 points, and here's the Higgins reply.
Six. Seven. $40. 15.
And I tend to think, Jack, this has become a test of courage.
And I think Alex is a little bit short of pace there. Wanted to come more into the centre of the table.
can take the back red of those two, though, Jack, to come round for the black into the same pocket. Tried to get round the back of the black, just caught it. And Alex played the cannon on that red to leave the red into the centre pocket.
And Alex really rising to the occasion here. This really is something.
$36. 37.
31 points the lead. So 52 points to 6. Alex leads 52. In this final frame. 15 frames each.
Being rather unfortunate, though, when splitting the reds. He has a red into the centre pocket, but it's not easy, this red. Now Alex could put the pink into the centre and hold the white there for this red just below the last of those three reds together.
$59.
Well, and what a time to make a 59 break. That's still enough points on the table now. Can this young man rise to the occasion?
Alex will probably play this loose red at near the bottom cush, wanting to leave the other reds grouped up, as Jimmy virtually needs all the reds. Shouldn't think Alex would want to open any of the reds up here.
Well, now then, a chance. And I wonder how this young man feels at this very moment.
6. Jimmy White, 6.
And there we see the difference, the sort of balls Jimmy's been potting throughout this match, and the difference that pressure makes when you have to get them. Just one red now wanted to leave Jimmy needing snookers.
8.
And Alex having a hard look at the scoreboard. And marvellous red, and that'll certainly make him feel better. And Jimmy White, I feel, must be feeling that this is the end of the road.
Yes, Jack, but what a tremendous performance by Alex these last 2 frames.
16.
Looked virtually out of the tournament. And I don't think he'll be too worried about that now.
.63 behind and 51 on the table. And now just a question of Alex winding up the frame and indeed the match. And what a victory, and what tremendous courage both players have shown, and they've really given us some enjoyment.
50.
Yes, Jack, I think one of the most exciting matches I've ever seen in my life, this.
And Jimmy looking rather sad, but at least he has the consolation of being just a young lad of 20, and he'll come again.
Alex Higgins, 21, foul, Jimmy White, 4.
So Jimmy White concedes. And what a splendid finish, and a truly, truly superb semi-final. So the People's player now has a chance to really be the People's champion.
And all the lucky charms had worked for this unpredictable and brilliant snooker player. We'd reached the most remarkable climax to the most remarkable World Championship ever. On the first 2 days, the favourites, the seeds, had gone tumbling. But now we had a final ahead of us that I don't think even a scriptwriter would have dared to invent. Alex Higgins, the champion at his first attempt in 1972, beaten in 2 other finals by Cliff Thorburn in 1980, and before in 1976 by the man he now faced, Ray Reardon, the Welshman who'd never lost a final in 6 previous appearances. It was a contrast in player, a contrast in person. The fans were split right down the middle. Now, they had to win 18 frames to take that title champion of the world, and Reardon won 2 out of the first 3. Here in the 4th, Higgins has potted the first red and a yellow, Reardon yet to reply.
One.
Oh, and that's come out very nicely.
6. 7.
And a lot of side with screw on that cue ball.
$14. 15.
'Well, the pink won't go on its
21.
spot, so it's highest available, which is the brown. And just
22.
nudges that red out of the way for the black.
$29. 30.
Well, Alex split those reds perfect there. Had to
37.
run into the other red there, but still come very nicely on the red.
38. 45. 46. 53.
'That's an excellent shot, and that's 54 break now. That's Alex's first 50 of the match.
And what a marvellous red that was. The one that he wanted, because
61.
kept himself in position.
62.
And with this next colour, which is the important one, Rin will need snookers.
And Reardon, the general, who will know exactly what to do in this situation.
68.
Try and relax. And the perfect angle on the black here
69.
gives him complete command of the cue ball too. Just a little nudge there and he's off again.
76. 77. 84. 85.
'And just about perfect.
91.
Yes, this time can take the red off the side cushion with this red. And absolutely spot on.
And that is true craftsmanship, just nudging that red.
'97. 98.
'So, an excellent 104. Now, can he make the clearance? Possible 131.
106.
The highest
109.
break so far in the tournament, of course, is by Willie Thorne, which is 143, so at least he can get close to it.
113. 118.
'Oh, Alex. Well, very bad luck, but a most delightful break.
By the end of that first day, the score of 2-2 had changed to 10-7 in Higgins' favour. They started again on Sunday morning. Higgins immediately gave 4 points away, and here trails 20 points to 0.
1.
Well, he's come through the gap there and left himself perfect on the black. So this is a good chance for Higgins.
Eight. 9. 16. 17. 21. Two. Foul. 22. Alex Higgins. 7.
Higgins unlucky actually to go in off the black, but the trouble started the previous shot when he left himself just short of his intended position on the black. Had to pop the black at a much thinner angle than he would have liked. He might have to sit down for a minute or two here because this is a good opening for Reardon.
One.
Nice little cannon that Reardon got onto the red to hold himself on the black there. And Reardon should win the frame from this position. Should be no doubt at all, and I'm sure that if he doesn't, he'll be very disappointed. Except for the one red which is behind
16.
the pink, and the one on the side cushion, all the others nicely open, so enough to put himself in a winning position.
17.
Advanced planning to separate the pink from one of the two troublesome reds and leaving himself still on an easy red for the middle.
25. Thirty-one. 38. 39.
Just the pink and one more red needed to leave Higgins needing a snooker.
$45. 46. 50. 52.
Well, that wasn't a good shot from Reardon. Didn't get on this shot as he should have done. But negotiated without any problem. Should have left himself a little bit easier on that, but the
53.
game is safe, so he won't be very worried.
And Reardon will certainly want to complete a clearance here to keep his own momentum going and keep Higgins cold.
$68. $70.
No century possible. 95 is the most that he can get, but I'm sure he'll be most happy with the start that he's made.
73. $77. $88.
And that 95 clearance was just what the doctor ordered from Reardon's point of view.
And frame after frame, they remained locked together. But Reardon was always behind throughout the day. By 9 o'clock that night, it was 15-14 to Higgins. To win, remember, you need 18. And the nerves were very evident here, Reardon leading 22 points to 10.
Round 4. Alex Higgins.
And that 4 away can be costly. A red into the centre pocket to start with.
Alex Higgins 14. Ray Reardon 22.
Yes, Alex looking to see if the pink will go into the centre pocket. I would be surprised if he plays for the pink off this first red, but just looking for colours that he can get off the following red, so I would say it's a red and one of the lower colours and then up the table. Well, I think that's an amazing choice of shot. Had to be absolute perfect weight, and he's got on it perfect.
$7. $8.
All square.
$14. $15. 17. $18. $22. $23.
Well, still in perfect
29.
position, just looking there to see what position he wants on the red near the top cushion after taking this red and pink. So there, Alex, 3 shots
30.
in front.
$36.
This time I would think we'll play for the black.
And Rexy jumped up completely on that one, didn't he?
Well, yes, Ted, that was pressure because Alex knew that the red was so important. The red and the black would have left red needing snookers, and the pressure got at him there.
Leading them by 28 points. Left this one for Ray Redden.
1.
And Ray in a little bit of trouble here. The last red right on the top cushion. Just gathered up the 6 points.
7. Ray Reid.
And a complete mistake
Quiet,
there by
please.
Ray
Thank
Redden.
you.
Well, Ray made a terrible mess of that because he
One.
had a choice of 2 shots. Played the one that he played because he thought that he'd get it very much safer.
$8. Alex Higgins.
$29 points ahead
Thank you.
then, with only 27 points on the table.
Ray Redden 29, Alex Higgins 58. Quiet, please.
Now, Ray Reardon requires one snooker. Will he take advantage of one or two small colours before he goes for that snooker?
Reardon will be trying to get into the best possible position to get a really good snooker.
2.
And I would say that he'll take the green and possibly try and get the snooker on the brown. Maybe looking to get a snooker off the side cushion and get one behind the black, or even a really good one behind the blue. But certainly we'll want to make it a really good one.
Five.
The difference now 24 points, with 22 points on the table.
Five. Ray Reardon.
That is absolutely brilliant.
Well, Alex wants to play off this off the two cushions, just looking to see if he's got the right angle.
Foul. 4. Ray Reardon.
And that's not far away from a free ball.
The difference down to 20 points.
That's a tremendous shot. And this is a very tough blue.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Well, the black two come a little bit further into the middle of the table. Again, this is a tough black.
Reardon saying it all. But from that moment, the final changed dramatically. Reardon couldn't believe it as the pocket seemed to close on him. He potted only 2 reds and a green in 2 frames, leaving Higgins at 17-15, playing with flair and courage, needing just one more. Ray Reardon needed expertise and luck.
Foul. 4. Alex Higgins.
Well, I must say, he's done a number of those during the course of this final.
you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Cue ball keeps popping into the pocket. And that's a magnificent shot, right on the black.
Yes, and that was a real pressure shot, because had he have missed that, all the reds were spread open and he would have left Neil with a good chance. Marvellous shot. And I think he's made a bit of a mess of that one.
8.
And left himself in a very difficult position to use the rest. Well, he's got the shot, but
9.
the result is that he's out of position on the black, and this is a very dangerous shot again.
And everything's starting to flow now for Alex Higgins.
Well, Alex knows that the championship is within his grasp from this position,
24.
providing that he's very careful. No reason why he shouldn't win the title here. And Reardon will be suffering in his seat.
25. $30. $31.
This is the
38.
fourth time that Alex Higgins has been in this final. Won it in 1972. Lost it to Ray Reardon in 1976.
39.
And lost it to the Canadian champion Cliff Thorburn in 1980. Frustrated, but helpless.
$44.
Well, I think that's just touched that red in the right way to leave it into the corner pocket if he wishes to play that. He plays in the centre, and providing the strength is right for the black, and it is, he's still back in perfect position.
45. $52. 57.
Well, now he's got the perfect angle and he's got to disturb the reds. And that's perfect. That certainly must be the shot that makes the title certain.
64. 71. 72. 77. 78.
The 33-year-old Irishman, making hay while the sun shines. Going out in a complete blaze of glory here.
84. 85.
Controversial, temperamental, but a terrific talent for the game of snooker.
92.
And what a way to finish.
Three. 101.
The 13th snooker century of the championship.
And what a time to make it, Ted. Fantastic.
108. Quiet, please. Thank you. $110. 170.
Just 3 balls to go now for a break of 135.
122.
Ray Reardon has sat in his chair for the whole of this final frame.
128.
Fantastic. And the Embassy World Snooker Champion for 1982 is Alex Hurricane Higgins. And admirers all the way round, the fans coming forward. Congratulations from every side for this extraordinary young Irishman who has done so much for the world of snooker since he came on the scene just 10 years ago.
Presented with the Embassy World Championship trophy, the emotion finally overcomes him. All he wants is to share the greatest moment of his unique life with his baby daughter Lauren and his wife Lynn. And even a record cheque for £25,000 doesn't get a second glance.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new world champion, Alex Higgins.
Alex Higgins and family, champions of the world. The end of 17 days at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. 17 days which have closed with these rare moments in sport, but which throughout have given us more than just a few moments of entertainment.